Hi and welcome to Whisky Shared. You're watching my review of Ardbeg Wee Beastie. I'm Toby and you're watching Whisky Shared. Welcome to my review of Ardbeg Wee Beastie. This is the first of 3 Ardbeg core range bottles that I'll be reviewing on my channel. And Ardbeg comes from the island of Islay in Scotland. It dates back to 1815 and it's very well known for its peated whisky. This particular whisky is a 5-year-old single malt. It's 47.4% ABV, it's non-chill filtered, and it retails for £39. And the whisky has been aged in ex-bourbon and Oloroso sherry casks. Should we find out what it tastes like? On to the whisky. Right, so before I start nosing and tasting, let's have a quick look at the colour. I'd say that's like a rose gold. It really does have a nice hue, but potentially it does have added colouring as it doesn't say otherwise. Let's start with the nose. Right, so the first thing I get with this is smoke. Obviously being a peated whisky, it's often the first thing that comes to the nose. But that smoke is like ash, like a smouldering bonfire. But it's also very sweet. There's lots of vanilla, like custard it is. And I'm also getting a hint of sort of creme brulee. There's also like a burnt rubber note. Not too strong on this. And there's also some like red fruits. It really is surprising how sweet this is. But let's move on to the palate. Yes, the first thing I get with this is wood smoke. There's plenty of wood smoke. The ABV I think works really well on this. It's not too hot, but it doesn't taste too light when you first take a sip. But the second thing I get is the sweetness. There's that vanilla and that custard, just like I got on the nose. Let's have another sip. Yeah, I'm starting to get some chocolate. It really is nice and creamy. There's also the sort of red fruits that I picked up on the nose, like raspberry jam. Yeah, it really is not too. It's not too sweet, that jammy note, but it is. It's not as sort of tart as the actual fruits themselves would be. Let's have one final sip. Yeah, so I'm starting to get like a coffee note. That's really quite nice. It's like the sort of fresh ground coffee in a bag sort of smell. And along with that, I'm also getting a little bit of rubber like I was on the nose. But it reminds me of sort of new bike tyres. It's that sort of note. I don't know if you ever like fit a new bike tyre. It's that sort of wafty, slightly chemical rubber note. It's yeah, it's not too strong on this though, so it's not off-putting. But there is like a savoury note along with that smoke and that rubber. Reminds me of Frazzles, those corn-based snacks. And there's also a little fizziness, and it's not like it's not like a tingle that you get with pepper. It really is like a sherbety type fizziness. And with that, it's slightly menthol and getting like a mint note as well, which is quite nice. In terms of finish, I'd say it's quite long. There's a wafty smoke. There's also that sweetness from the vanilla. There's also dry wood. It's quite obvious, and that's quite common for me on a lot of whiskies anyway. And there is also a sweet sort of like caramel almost like fudge note on that finish, which is really quite nice. In terms of value, well, this, as I said, retails for £39 in the UK. And I don't think that's too bad when you compare the entry-level 10-year-old being 47. But this can be found on offer from time to time, and it tends to hover around the £35 mark, which, you know, I think even though this is a 5-year-old whiskey, I think you shouldn't take away from the fact that it has been aged in some ex-Oloroso barrels, which obviously adds to the cost, and I think also increases some of that flavour and takes away some of the potential youthfulness that the spirit might have. If you've tried this, and I'm sure a lot of you out there have, then please let me know what you thought of it in the comments. I'd really like to hear how you found this. And if you haven't, well, I think this is definitely a good whiskey. It's one I'd recommend, and although it's probably not for beginners, it definitely is a good smoky whiskey. And yeah, I know a lot of people out there do enjoy this. Hopefully you'll come back next time for part 2. Stauncher. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, why not give it a like or a comment, and please consider subscribing for more videos like this.